I was thinking about the kind of this connection in the way that you guys create. Do you have inspiration from like 80s comedies or earlier comedies, that movies that you have loved that you've kind of incorporated, or seen themes that you've pulled in from that? Or
yeah, I think growing up we were all influenced by Caddyshack, Animal House, Monty Python, a lot of the great comedies from the 70s, 80s, Mel Brooks, Blazing Saddles. I mean, there's so many titles that we all kind of shared a love for.
Yeah, I mean, we were all teenagers in the 80s. And so, you think about that's when you start to get to see your first more sort of bawdy comedies or raunchy comedies. So, yeah, everybody kind of had that common inspiration.
Right on. So if you're looking at them as an ensemble buddy movies, I did have a question when you talking about toys and everything else related to comics and so on. It's all the rage to play Marvel superheroes, right? Or possibly even DCU if you're willing to take a little bit more of a risk. Any superheroes that you might want to play? If you said, like, if they came to me with that, I wouldn't say no.
Any of them. I'd love to play any superhero. Marvel's out there. Any specifically as a kid, I collected Flash. So I would be the Flash, I guess.
You'd be a good Barry Allen, sure.
I was a DC kid growing up, so actually that's the universe that I know, and I'm also a horror guy. So to me, I would love to, not just like as an actor, but as a filmmaker, get into some of those things like Dead Man. I would love to do a Dead Man movie.
That's a deep cut. Dead Man.
Yeah, that to me that's almost the problem with what DC has done wrong, is whereas Marvel is like, yeah, we'll take any property as long as it's like cool and we think there's a cool story, we'll make that. I mean, like DC would never have made something like Guardians of the Galaxy because it was not a big franchise showcase title.
Right.
So to me, that's what DC should do, because there's still a ton of cool, weird, all the DC universe kind of weird, scary stuff, and Dead Man, Phantom Stranger, the Spectre.
Swamp Thing.
What's that? Swamp Thing? Yeah, I know they're doing Swamp Thing, so I know they're kind of that's probably like the darkest, most genre-y thing that they're exploiting, and I hope they continue to do that, because I think that's where the DC universe is actually really cool, is in some of that like Steve Ditka kind of weird 60s stuff.
It is, and I think you're right. Like, they went straight for the top, right? They went right for Justice League, and you look at the way that Marvel did it with a little bit more obscure. I mean, Thor on his own is a huge hit, but individually, is it worth a Thor movie? But then they built right up to it, and then presented you with Avengers, and bang, it was a huge hit. Whereas DC,
I would also like to play Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy.
If I got to play a bad guy, I'd want to play Solomon Grundy. That was always my favorite.
Are you willing to eat that much food and hit the gym that often?
Yes.
Right on.
Because what is he, like 7'11"?
He's a big man. I'm willing to grow and eat and get huge.
Excellent.
I'll do it.
They provide you the best trainers, the most calorie laden.
It would be the opposite De Niro. De Niro got big for Cape Fear, so it would be like that. But I'd just double that. I'd like triple it.
Work twice as hard as De Niro.
You
heard it here first.
We started last night. We had some milkshakes. We had Sonic milkshakes last night.
We had about 5,000 calories last night.
Yeah.
It'll take it out of you working on the floor and doing the meet and greets, taking all that energy. So one more thing I wanted to make sure we got to, though, was Tacoma FD.
Yeah.
So working back with a bunch of friends here. And
yeah, so basically, Kevin and Steve from Broken Lizard set up this show at True TV, and it got ordered in the spring. So they got ordered for 8 episodes. I pitched in and did some writing on it and produced it. So that premieres at the end of this month, March 28th, and it's really fun if you're a fan of Super Troopers. I mean, they basically pitched it as Super Troopers in a fire station. And Tacoma, since it's the rainiest city in the country, the firefighters there only get called out on nuisance calls. They never get fire. So it's
cats from trees. And
so it's the same spirit of Super Troopers, of what people like this do when they've got nothing to do.
Sure.
So it's again, it's our same sensibility. So,
but it's
really
not
funny.
a Broken Lizard project.
Just 3 of us. It's just the 2 of those
guys are acting in it mostly, and then
right. Well, I saw that you were the associate producer or executive producer,
consulting
producer, and that you might make an appearance once.
Yeah. I'm in 1 episode, episode 4.
That's right.
If you only watch one episode,
that's
4.
the specific episode that you need to check out. And finally, I think we have Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox.
That's great.
Possible inspirations for the original Super Troopers.
For years, we had talked about Jay. So Thorny and Rabbit were really sort of the original Ponch and John.
All right.
Those guys.
Well, they weren't the original.
Right.
Yeah. Boy, you can get in trouble saying that.
I take that back.
The inspired by Ponch and John characters in the Super Troopers.
We had always dreamed about playing them in a Chips movie.
All right.
And then the Chips movie came out. We weren't asked to be in it. we were a little sad.
But then it was funny because they're sitting behind us. They're on the other side. And Estrada came around yesterday and kind of looked at us, and we were like, ooh, does Estrada know who we are? But this was the face that Estrada made. Yeah, he looked us up and down and went,
kind of concerned.
and then walked away. Yeah, concerned, confused, and then he fucked off.
Who are these guys?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, do you have a question that I should ask on behalf of Broken Lizard on their segment?
Just say, like, do you know that, like, Chips inspired classic movies like Super Troopers?
classic movies.
And just see if they have any idea what you're talking about.
I will absolutely ask them that.
Good.
So next week we have a T-shirt coming out. If you go to brokenlizard.com, instead of CHIPS, it's VHIPS. So instead of chips, it's VIPs.
Vermont Highway Patrol.
Vermont Highway Patrol. And Jay wears it in the movie Super Troopers 2, and it will be available to public next week.
Excellent. And how to where would they find that? And what's your social media?
BrokenLizard.com.
BrokenLizard.com is the primary location
BrokenLizard.com.
to find their stuff. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
gentlemen.
absolutely.
It's an
Yeah,
absolute
thank you.
Pleasure to have you.
Great talking to you.
Thanks for taking the time, and have a wonderful rest of the con.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.